Star Wars is saved, everybody. Star Wars is saved. Have you heard the news? The great news of today. Star Wars is saved. We're going to react to a good friend, Ryan Kennel, RK-Outpost. Big fan of this guy. Met him several times. Kathleen Kennedy is gone as president of Lucasfilm. Disney Star Wars is still fucked. Well, I couldn't have said it better myself. Let's react to this video. I sped it up. So it's going to sound a little weird, but I sped it up to save us a little bit of time. Let's react to this.
When a story came out a week and a half ago that finally Kathleen Kennedy was ready to step down after more than a decade of destroying Disney Star Wars as president of Lucasfilm, a lot of people were a little bit hesitant to believe it because, yeah, we've heard this song and dance before. The difference was the people who were pushing that song and dance, it was all about Kathleen Kennedy being fired, that she was going to get fired and there's a civil war and all that stuff, which was...
Yeah, it was all nonsense. It was all nonsense. It was all made up. She was never going to get fired. She was going to leave when she wanted to leave. It was tabloid shit. People were making up rumors.
Never the case. It was always lies. I've spent years calling out those lies here on this channel. Sometimes people weren't very happy about me calling out those lies. But the difference is it was an actual report this time. The same report from Matt Villani, former Hollywood Reporter editor, who said that early last year, within the next calendar year, she would be stepping down.
Yeah.
And now we have the confirmation.
I remember covering on this channel, so I remember that.
This broke, let's see, 11 minutes ago. Star Wars shakeup. Kathleen Kennedy steps down as George Lucas' protege Dave Filoni, exec Lin-Manuel Brennan take over at Lucasfilm. Now, this is just the official confirmation of this story that we basically talked about. What I said when we talked about this story a week and a half ago was pretty much the same things that I'm going to say now.
And by the way, shout out to geeksandgamers.com for covering that. I wish I had time to read their articles and break them down for my YouTube videos, and maybe I will someday, but shout out to Geeks and Gamers.
Kathleen Kennedy was never going to be fired. She would step down whenever she was ready. She is in her 70s at this point. She's an old woman. It was going to happen eventually. But also I said that this is basically going to still be the status quo for Disney Star Wars. You know who's been the chief creative officer for Lucasfilm? The entire time for the past 5 years, it's been Dave Filoni.
Dave Filoni.
As all these projects have come out, whether it's Mandalorian, whether it's Ahsoka, whether it's The Acolyte, whether it's Obi-Wan Kenobi, you know who the chief creative officer was and the person providing input to all those people, the person checking this or Xing off that? It was Dave Filoni, and it has been Dave Filoni. The stuff you've been seeing coming out of Lucasfilm has all got Dave Filoni's handprints all over it.
Yep.
Dave Filoni was part of planning the sequel trilogy. I went over that in great detail. This is a breaking news video, so I will include a link to my full description of why nothing will really change with Dave Filoni and all of his problems. I'll link that in the pinned comment below in this video, but now it finally is official. After 14 years guiding Star Wars in the modern era through all its ups and downs, Kathleen Kennedy is stepping down as the president of Lucasfilm. Her departure, which is effective this week, has long been expected, but still marks a seismic shift for one of the biggest brands in Hollywood. Kennedy already spent decades producing movies such as Indiana Jones and E.T., where she joined Lucasfilm in 2012, taking on the role of co-chair along Star Wars creator George Lucas. She was elevated to sole head of the company just a few months later, after Disney paid $4 billion for the brand and Lucas exited. Kennedy is not totally departing a galaxy far, far away immediately. As part of the exit, she'll continue on as a producer on the next two.
Well, there's the catch, isn't it? She'll continue on as a producer for Lucasfilm, for Disney Star Wars, while Dave Filoni and all of his creative genius will be the president and continue to be creative director. And then this Lin-Manuel Brennan person is going to be running the business side, because apparently they need somebody to manage the finances on all the flops that they've been doing and all of the budgetary things that they keep fucking up. Because apparently they keep spending, what is it, millions upon millions of dollars on shit that never gets produced. It's fucking money laundering schemes, if you ask me.
Star Wars movies, Mandalorian and Grogu, and Starfighter. She'll also pursue other projects outside of Lucasfilm as an independent producer. Now, of course, when you look at what Kathleen Kennedy has said, even last year when she sat down, she said, I'm never going away. Even if I stop being president, I still want to produce Star Wars movies.
Yeah.
She probably will continue to produce in some capacity. Yep. In her wake, Executive Vice President, Chief Creative Officer Dave Filoni has been promoted to oversee the creative direction of the company as President and Chief Creative Officer. Lucasfilm, President and GM of Lucasfilm Business, Lin-Manuel Brennan will handle the business side. She has basically been handling the business side for a while, and Dave Filoni has been Chief Creative Officer for a long time. And now they both get to be co-presidents, now that Kathleen Kennedy has stepped down. A lot of people question whether this report was the real report when it was actually happening, and it felt much more like it would. It wasn't just fucking dumbass scoopers saying it. Wasn't people just trying to grift off of fucking copium or giving people hope of fake Civil War bullshit. It was like an actual respectable person, Matt Bellani, who isn't right all the time, but has certainly been right a lot. And look, he called it last year. He said within the next year, it's going to happen. And Kathleen Kennedy was very defensive about it, but basically confirmed in that interview that she was looking for people to replace her. And ultimately, you get more of the same. Dave Filoni and Kathleen Kennedy have been in lockstep about Star Wars all the way.
And funny, you'd think that there'd be an uproar with the sort of cult-like fan base that Dave Filoni has. You'd think that there'd be more people excited about it. But it turns out, I've heard nothing. I don't hear excitement. I don't hear hatred. I don't hear sadness or anything. I hear apathy. I don't think people give a fuck anymore. I think people don't care that Kathleen Kennedy's gone. I don't think they care that Dave Filoni's stepping in. I think most people have moved away. They don't care. They understand, like myself and Ryan, that nothing's going to change, so they don't have any reason to be excited. They don't have any reason to be sad or somber that this is happening, or even angry that, about what's happened. Like, it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter. Nothing's going to change. Ironic.
And now, Dave Filoni, the creative genius behind Ahsoka, the creative genius who, in part with Jon Favreau, has delivered Mandalorian, which gave us a mid-season 1 and 2 really bad seasons after that. Of course, Book of Boba Fett happened under his watch. Obi-Wan Kenobi happened under his watch. The Acolyte happened under his watch. Him and Leslie Headland, good buddies. He loves what they were able to do with the Acolyte. That's Dave Filoni. Can't wait to see what the future holds for Lucasfilm. And guess what? The future is still bleak because Dave Filoni is just as big of a problem, if not more, than Kathleen Kennedy ever has been at Lucasfilm. What do you guys think about this? It's finally done. The Kathleen Kennedy saga. Is she gone or is she here? She is officially gone as president of Lucasfilm. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.
Y'all should go subscribe to Ryan Kennel, RK-Outpost. I think he's a great guy. Great racist, too. He's fucking great. But seriously, though, my thoughts on this, I mean, I said it before, nothing's going to change, dude. Like, Disney Star Wars is still dead. It's still culturally dead. Like, who cares, right? Who cares about The Mandalorian and Grogu? Who cares? Starfighter might be interesting, but you can't rebuild the nostalgia. You can't rebuild things like having the original trilogy characters. Harrison Ford's too old. Mark Hamill's a lunatic. Carrie Fisher passed away. You can't recapture the magic of something like that. Now it's just it's intellectual property. It's just another streaming thing for Disney Plus. It's just another intellectual property that they own. It's not even something that really even unites us anymore. It's sad to see that it's come to this. After years, after 14 years, and the baiting, and the rage baiting, and the fan attacks, and all this shit, people like me move away, We don't care about Disney Star Wars like we once did, or even just Star Wars in general. It's one thing to cover it for the channel, for YouTube, but to actually give a fuck about it is a completely different story. To be excited, to be invested in it. And I haven't had that in a long time. In fact, I've been so disinterested in Disney Star Wars and in Star Wars in general. I still cherish the memories of Star Wars prior to Disney. But because of that, I have managed to create my own version of Star Wars. I created my own story based on Star Wars that was a science fiction fantasy novel thing, akin to like Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones. One of these days, I will have it released. I will have it published, and I will release it to the masses. Right now, I'm still storyboarding it. I'm still writing it. Got to build that world. World building is everything. And that's how much Disney Star Wars has failed. Is now they got people like me out there creating stuff to try and recapture the magic, using my imagination just to have fun again. You know, of course it's a long time from now, so I'm just a little teaser. But I don't give a fuck that Kathleen Kennedy's gone because she should have been gone years ago. With all the terrible shit that she's done, she should have been gone years ago. But now I don't care about Dave Filoni. I don't care about Lin Brennan, who's probably going to be, selling a bunch of coke money, because that's a bunch of money laundering going on at Lucasfilm. And Dave Filoni, I didn't like Ahsoka. I didn't like The Acolyte. I didn't like Kenobi. I didn't like Book of Boba Fett or even the last 2 seasons of The Mandalorian. Fuck Dave Filoni. And he gets too much credit for the Clone Wars. I would say he gets too much hate as well, according to Jeremy, but I also don't think he's the greatest shit ever. I lost that respect for Dave Filoni. So I got nothing. I'm just here covering it. But fuck Kathleen Kennedy. Fuck Disney Star Wars. Fuck Bob Iger. Fuck J.J. Abrams. Fuck Ryan Johnson. And fuck Dave Filoni. Don't smoke crack.